Hello, students. Welcome to my class. I'm Keerti, and today we are going to have an overview of our chapter whose name is Human Reproduction. Okay, so in this session, we are going to have an overview of this chapter. Let's start with our chapter. Human reproduction. As we already know, humans are reproducing through sexual reproduction, and humans are viviparous in nature. I hope you know what this viviparous means. Actually, there are two terms, oviparous and viviparous. Oviparous means that the parents are giving, the organisms are egg laying in nature. But in case of viviparous, parents are giving birth to young ones. I hope I'm clear with these two terms, oviparous and viviparous. So human beings and most of the animals are viviparous. It means they are directly giving birth to young ones. Okay. And why reproduction is needed? We have discussed it many a times. Reproduction is done by plants, by animals, by humans to ensure the continuation of the species. Okay. And this sexual means the gametes are involved. Okay. There is an involvement of gametes. While some of the plants and organisms also reproduce through asexual reproduction, in which there is no involvement of gametes. So, in humans, we have male reproductive system and female reproductive system. We have different hormones working in case of males and females, and there are different processes involved in the production of human male gamete and human female gamete. So we will deal one by one in both the cases. Let me show you first the diagram of this male reproductive system. As you can see, this, this is the diagram of male reproductive system, and this is the sectional view. This male system is showing you the picture of seminal vesicle, rectum, anus. This is penis. The male reproductive system is located outside the body. Okay, you know, the penis is located outside the body in the pelvic region, while in case of female, it is located inside the female body. So, this penis is protruded outside the body in the pelvic region, and this organ testis is also located outside. Testis is the main organ associated with the production of sperm. This testis is enclosed in a pouch-like structure that is known as scrotum. Okay, so this diagram is showing you the external part as well as internal sectional part. This epididymis, the seminal vesicle, and rectum, these are located inside the body. We have one urinary bladder in case of males and female, both. Okay. We have a pair of vas deferens. We have a single urethra and single penis. We have a pair of testes, one pair. We have a single scrotum. Okay, and this epididymis is the gland located above the testis. So they are also in paired form. Okay. So these penis Scrotum is part of male external genitalia. Am I clear? So this is the diagram of male reproductive system. Next, we will have female reproductive system. Okay. So in females, this reproductive system is located in the pelvic region, same as of male, but this is inside of our body. We cannot see from outside. Okay. So this whole thing is inside the body in the pelvic area. Okay. So this female reproductive system consists of ovary. This is primary organ responsible for the formation of ovum in case of female. That is female gamete. We have one pair of ovary. See here, one located in the left side, other located in the right side. We have single uterus. We have cervix. Cervix leads to cervical canal, and cervical canal leads outside in the vagina. Okay. And this tube-like structure, which is being shown here, this tube-like structure is known as fallopian tube. This fallopian tube has three regions: the isthmus region, ampulla region, and infundibulum region. See, this nomenclature or this classification is given according to the area, which area we are pointing out. Okay. So this isthmus is the area distal from the ovary. The nearest region is infundibulum, and this infundibulum is stretching into a finger-like structure which is known as fimbriae. This fimbriae is responsible for the collection of ovum. You already know that we as a woman, we release one ovum once a month, which leads to a cycle known as menstruation cycle. So from each ovary, alternatively, one ovum is ejected, and this is collected by fimbriae. It will travel through this tube and ultimately will reach into the uterine cavity, and then various process will take place. Okay, if the sperm is going to fuse with the ovum, obviously zygote will be formed and other processes will take place. If not, we already know this uterine cavity will shed. We women bleed for 3 to 7 days once in a month. Okay, this is because the ovum that the ovary is generating is not going to be fertilized by the sperm. Okay, so this is an overview of the female reproductive system. See, in this diagram, this layering is also mentioned. This layering is actually the part of the inner lining of the uterine cavity. From outside to inside, when we see from outside to inside, the outer layer is known as perimetrium, the middle layer is known as myometrium, and next is endometrium. We are going to study these layers in detail in later on. This picture, this session is all about the overview. So you are going to get yourself aware with all these nomenclature that we are going to use in future of this chapter when we are going to discuss the whole process. Okay. Hope I'm clear with this slide. Our next is, of course, the gamete. Once we have talked about the external and external organ of the the male reproductive system, the external part and the internal organ associated with it, the whatever the internal reproductive structures were there. Now we know the female reproductive system. Okay, it consists of what? The ovary, the primary organ that is responsible for the formation of this gamete. Okay, so human beings are able to generate two type of gametes. Male will going to have sperm and female is going to have ovum. Okay, and when the sperm when reaches and fuses with the ovum, there will be formation of zygote. This zygote is nothing but the first stage of the human development. Okay, the child that is going to be developed, the cellular stage that we are talking about is known as zygote. This zygote will undergo various cellular and metabolic process to ultimately leading to form a, a fully structured baby, and that the baby will get delivered. Okay, so this chapter is going to deal with a set of processes, right, starting from gametogenesis. Okay. The next is insemination. After insemination, there will be a process known as fertilization. After fertilization, there is a process known as implantation. After implantation, there is gestation. And after gestation, final part is parturition. Okay. So, our whole chapter is going to discuss these terms, these processes, how the gametogenesis is going to take place, when the insemination is going to take place, after fertilization, what will happen to this developing zygote. See, this picture also shows you when the sperms comes in contact with the egg cell, fertilization will take place and ultimately will lead to the formation of zygote. Okay, so what are the changes this zygote will undergo after implantation? This implantation, the next period is the gestation. What is gestation? This gestation is nothing. This gestation is the 9-month period, the duration that a woman is undergoing. A child is developing inside the woman's body, in the uterus of the female body. And next is parturition. So this chapter is all about the sixth process, right, starting from gametogenesis to parturition. So this gametogenesis, of course, this will take place differently in male and female. The male will undergo a process known as spermatogenesis. That spermatogenesis is ultimately going to form the sperms or spermatozoa. Okay. This spermatogenesis will start from spermatogonia. Spermatogonia is the male mother cell that will ultimately go n number of divisions. For example, mitosis, meiosis 1, meiosis 2, and ultimately will lead to a formation of a sperm. So when we are going to see or we are going to study about this process spermatogenesis, we will study in deep that what is a spermatogonia, why it is going mitosis, what is meiosis 1, what is meiosis 2. This discussion, this session is all about an overview of the processes that a male reproductive system is undergoing to produce sperms. Okay, sperms are nothing but the gametes that are involved that in the next stage of the cycle, right after gametogenesis, there is a process that is known as insemination. So after insemination, so these are after insemination, the next process, there are n number of processes that we are going to discuss in the step by step way. Let's first familiarize with all these terms so that in next time when I'm going to discuss about the spermatogenesis, so you must be aware with the fact that the spermatogenesis is going to take place in human male, in males. Okay. And of course, if this gametogenesis or this spermatogenesis isn't happening in male, so there must be another process which must be going on in the female to female gamete. So this is known as oogenesis. See here. So if the spermatogenesis is going to produce sperm, in the same way, a process of oogenesis will take place in female to produce the final byproduct, that is sperm. And after these two processes, sperm will go inside the vaginal tract of the female and ultimately will going to fertilize this ovum. Okay, which leads to the formation of zygote, and then zygote will go various stages of development and will ultimately lead to formation of a fully grown human child. Okay, all the activities that will take place after this process will be happening inside the uterus. Okay, and if this is not going to take place, of course, this all the cycle you already know that this is going to take place after puberty, once the male and the female reproductive structures are fully formed and fully functional. But this process of the zygote formation, this will only take place after the process of copulation, or you can say after the intercourse. Otherwise, male will continue to produce sperm, female will continue to produce ovum. Okay, but this ovum will not get fertilized each and every time. This will happen only if the male and female partner are thinking about having a child together. So what will happen if that ovum is not going to fertilize? Of course, the cycle, the ovum will undergo a cycle known as menstrual cycle. Okay, that involves ovulation, preparation of uterus, and if the ovum is not going to be fertilized by the sperm, the inner lining of the uterus will shed off. Okay, and this ovum will be degenerated. Will get degenerated. Am I clear? I hope I'm clear. So this menstruation cycle is undergone by each and every woman which attains puberty. This will take place after puberty, when the female reproductive system is fully functional. It means now the female is ready if she wants to have a child, and if she does not want to have a child, of course, this ovum will get degenerated and get excreted out of out of our body in the form of the period that we talk about, that we already know that all the girls are undergoing this cycle. Okay. So if the fertilization is going to take place, see this picture, this is, this is showing you that a single sperm is going to fertilize an egg. So this fertilization, if this happens, the next of the process will take on after the fertilization process. The next process is what? Implantation. Then after that fertilization, the sperm when reaches to zygote, it fertilize, reaches the ovum, it will fertilize, and that zygote containing the sperm will get fused with the uterine lining of the female body. Okay, it means it gets implanted, it gets embedded inside the structure where the actual development is going to take place. This cell will, divide multiple times to ultimately form a child. Okay, and that development is known as embryonic development. See here in this slide. So this embryonic development will have various stages. We will study deep about these stages, that which stage is known as zygote, morula, blastula, gastrula, how the tissue and organ are going to form. Okay. So after zygote formation, the zygote will undergo various, differentiation of the cell, 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, 8 cell stage, 16, 32 cell stage. This is going to, undergo various development, which will ultimately lead to the formation of a child. So this is known as embryonic development. The embryo is going to develop. For the development of that growing child, that embryo, where does the nutrients come from? For that process, you must be aware of the term placenta from your previous classes. This placenta is nothing but a tube-like structure that from which nutrients are going to transfer from the mother's body to the developing child. Okay, so this placenta will connect the mother to the fetus, and this will facilitate exchange of various nutrients, gases and wastes. Because see, this the period of 9 months, the child is going to have the nutrition and it will also excrete the nutrient. So there must be a process to clear the environment. So this placenta comes into the role and it will perform the function of both providing the nutrient and also the process of, clearing the wastes from the environment of the developing child. Okay, that we will deal in the later in this chapter. And ultimately, this whole process will lead to a formation of a child, leading to the childbirth. The child needs to come out from the female body after a period of 9 months. So, this process of childbirth is known as parturition. Various hormones like oxytocin plays a major role during the delivery of the child. And you already know human females are having a special organ known as mammary gland that will provide nutrition to the young child. Okay, that newborn baby that comes out from the human female after a period of 9 months, they will not be able to digest food and various things. So for a fixed period of time, human female is going to provide the nutrition through a process known as lactation. Okay, lactation is the production of milk from the mammary glands after the childbirth. And for that process too, various hormones are going to come in action like prolactin and oxytocin. This will regulate the process and it will lead to the final, the growing of the child. The child will grow. The mother will provide nutrition in the form of milk. And this milk will be sucked out by the child from the woman's body through a special organ that is known as mammary gland. Okay, so in this chapter, right, starting from how the structures are whatever the structures are present in human male and human female, in male and female, how the process of gametogenesis, how this process of sperm formation and ova formation is going to take place, which will ultimately lead to formation of, after fertilization, a zygote and the developing embryo. So this chapter will deal about everything in a step-way process. This session, I have given you an overview so that you can at least have an idea that, okay, these are the structures present in males, these are the structures in females. We are going to study all these things in a very deep manner, that which glands are secreting which hormone. Okay, how the male sexual hormones are secreted by which type of glands in male, or female hormones are secreted from which of the glands, or from which of these structures. So we are going to have an, deep way of learning when we will start this chapter from the start, that is from the male reproductive system part. So we will go in deep and study about what kind of processes, how this spermatogonia, the male mother cell, is ultimately going to produce the sperm. Or in case of female, the ovary, that is the primary organ, is going to produce an ova. And what will happen after this production? Okay. So I hope you are now have somewhat idea. Okay. You don't need to go just in deep, just first we have to have an idea that we are going to study about this thing in this chapter. So I think I'm clear up to this. Even if in this discussion you have any query, contact me through my urban pro profile. Okay, till then I'll request you to go through your NCRT chapter and have a little bit of idea. When we are going to discuss each and bits and pieces of this chapter, you will be able to grasp the things in a more structured way. Okay, and you are able to understand this whole chapter. Till then, take care. Thank you for this session. Thank you.